come here quite a lot to do the testing of new GOOs that are going to be coming out or not coming out. Just a first starting block. Come here, it's local to me, it's local club water. Few originals, which is like a cherry on top really for me, is what I want to get. But basically I come here to do a lot of testing. If you're catching fish, you can learn. If you're not catching fish, you don't. I've come to this side of the lake. Basically, the lake's probably 4 acres, maybe 5. Very deep lake. There's 50 to 60 foot, you know, mainly in the bowl of the lake. But this end of the lake, these pegs, this one and the two opposite, it comes into a shallow area, which is quite weedy, but it comes up to about 10, 12 foot. So the fish tend to just naturally hang around here in the warmer months. Found in my experience that the majority of the fish, the carp, will be at this end. So it gives you a good chance to put rigs amongst them. I mean, at the moment I'm fishing 30 yards out, just in between 2 weed beds. Seen quite a few shows this morning, so hoping we'll get some action soon. Out the hand. That's crazy. Oh, it's just weeding me up as well, which is nice. There she goes. Trying her best to get around that other line, isn't she? Two at once. Bit airy, wasn't it? Yeah, so getting bites consistently is a good way of learning, and then obviously once you're happy with your hook baits, what you're catching on, then obviously you can lengthen rigs, try different hook patterns, try different size hooks, see if this bites slow down or pick up. You can really narrow your skills down to what you need, and then when you go into these low stocked lakes, or you know, even just a syndicate water that's tough and you're only getting a bite a weekend, you know you sat behind rods that you know everything works and everything's correct, and you know that it's going to work for you, so you don't have to be, because there's nothing worse when you've had an hour in the lake, 2 hours in the lake. Oh, is that stuff any good? Is, you know, this bait any good, or is this hook any good? You know, you want to be confident on everything you're doing, so coming to places like this is ideal to learn them things. There's no monsters in here. I mean, I've caught 40s, mid-40s all around the country. I travel a lot way, you know, I go a long way because I'm up north. I go 4 hours, 5 hours to Linear to catch fish, you know, go to syndicates down at 5.5 hours away. The last thing I want to do is travel 5.5 hours through the night, get to the lake, get on fish, and then not get a bite, because I don't know why. You know, I don't want to be chopping and changing when there's, you know, 40 pounders jumping out all over you. You don't want to be changing anything then. You want to be getting everything correct and be confident in what you're doing. So, you know, coming here, checking everything's right, then, you know, when you get your chances with the bigger fish, you know, you're confident, you sat behind them rods 100%, I'm bang on here, I know it's right, everything's correct. GOOs, it's always on when I cast out. I've never cast out without it. Probably 8 years ago, I fished a lake in winter and I smashed the place to pieces, and that was testing the manganana. And ever since then, I've just got so much confidence in it, so I always use it. You get the bites a lot quicker. I've put a bucket and half a bait out, you know, and then put 2 rigs or 3 rigs over the top, and within 5 minutes of them starting to show on you, all 3 of them rods have gone. So there's no way in this world that them fish have eaten thousands of parts of particle and then just got to my hook baits at the end. They're on it straight away. It's something they're homing into. A couple of tips with the GOO. What I see people not doing really is soaking it for long enough. Ideally, you want to be leaving it, I think personally, a minimum of 3 weeks. The longer you leave it on, the longer it's going to work for you in the water. If you leave them soaking for 3 weeks, you're going to get at least 12 hours of the goo coming out, giving off flavour, putting scent in the water. A big edge that I find nobody really doing is combining the goos, putting 2 or 3 on and creating your own hook bait, something completely unique to you. I'm not going to go on and on about it. There is a video already done for it, so we'll put that link in the description for you. But yeah, it's a big edge. So it's just finding the right one for the right date and the right venue. But I wouldn't cast out without it. Yeah, so basically what's happened is it's gone a bit quiet just around the corner really, a few pegs down, but I've been hearing a few fish bosh out around this side. So what we've done is just quickly moved for like a couple of hours. I don't really want to lead about. I've not put any bait in, so what I'm going to do is put some solid bags out, and I'm going to show you that how to tie them up now. So do them a little, not different, everybody knows how to tie a solid bag, but I do it a little bit differently, and I'll show you why I do it that way. So this is the rig I use within the solid bag. Really simple. Change the hook point, change the hooks, so to say, really easily without retying a new one. Basic rig, but it's simple, but it's effective in the mechanics and how it works, and the kicker does all the work for you. Basically, it's a loop, a figure of 8 loop, 5 centimeters long. I've pushed a tungsten sinker over the top of the loop just to neaten it up, plus it helps pull the point down. Then you slide one of the kickers on. It's a long kicker, it's not an aligner liner, but it works a similar way. And then obviously thread your hook point through, going from the front of the eye to the back of the eye, ring swivel on top, and then obviously back over the top of the eye, pull it down so it sits, so the hook point sits nice and low. So it's always going to, as it goes in, the hook point's nice and heavy, if you like. The hook bait is a wafter, gooed up wafter, started as a pop-up, gooed it up, now it's a wafter. So basically that'll just sit exactly as you can see it there. That will sit in the fish. That was how it will go in. And obviously with the kicker on, if you pull the rig tight in your palm of your hand, it will kick over and grab quite aggressively. So simple rig, but obviously you can change the hook really easily. You don't have to mess around tying a new rig up, and just change the hook into a new bag, back out, all supple braids so it's not kinked up. You've all seen this before probably, but that's my version of it, and I'm going to put it in the bag and show you how I do the bag. Right, so tying the bag up, use the Corda extra small bags. Even with a 4-ounce lead, I still use an extra small bag. The more you do, the easier they get. Well, basically put a little bit in to start with, then the lead goes in to one side of the bag, so it's at the bottom. Then I'll drop the hook link and hook the hook point over the top of the bag and catch it with my thumb, like so. And then basically fill the bag, not all the way, but most of the bag. Take the hook point off the bag, just tease the hook and the kicker, just push it with your thumb, flatten it off a bit, and then just push the rig down the front of the bag, so you always see the hook. You get the bag to 3/4 way finished like that, so you can still see the hook bait on one side and you can see the lead on the other side. Tend to twist them round once like that, lick it, sort your corners out, nice and solid. So that's my solid bag. Hook bait's on one side, lead's on the other, and if you drop that in 18 inches of water, 2 foot in the water, with the lead facing the top, it will always spin and land on the bottom. So that will always happen. So when it's on the lake bed, this also aids you 2 things. Brilliant for casting, because the lead is at the front of the bag. So if you're ever casting long ways, don't put the lead at the top of the bag, because the bag will wave in the air. You want the lead right at the bottom, and then it'll fly nice and true. So when you're fishing a spot like I'm going to be fishing in a minute, and I don't really know what's on the bottom, I roughly got an idea, but not 100%, I can always get the drop, because the lead, if you look at that, how it's going to land, the lead's going to hit the bottom on a tight line. It's going to hit the bottom first, so you'll transmit it back through the rod, and you'll be able to get the drop. Also, I always put a hole in this side. Years ago, I used to just cut it with a pair of scissors or stab it with a baiting needle. But now what I do is I get a goo bottle, whatever goos I'm going to be using, because we're testing the hook bait I've got in here that I'm testing. I'm going to match that with the bottle, and I just use it near the top, pretty much where the hook bait is. Just push it in, and then fill it, squeeze it. You don't need to go mad with it, but enough, that's perfect. And then what will happen, as that lead hits the bottom, the air will come out through that hole, and then basically the bag will you know, melt away nicely. And leave the hook bait also as well. This is a good little edge. This the hook bait will be smack bang in the middle of the pile. Now if you get the rigging, if you put your hook bait in first and then put the lead in last, what you'll find is when they melt, the hook bait will be right on the edge of the pile, which some people might prefer, some I don't personally, because I think they attack this as a mouthful of bait, and you don't want the hook bait on the edge, you want it right smack in the middle, cherry on the top, so to speak. So yeah, that's my solid bag rig. Move paid off and solid bag. Up a double, 14 fish today. Been a good day. First time out on the new GOOs, and not a bad day sport fish like this size. I put the rod back out while the fish was in the net, and it's gone again, literally out of my hand. And then I'll show you the bigger one of the two. Really good day, loads of bites, learnt a lot. Really impressed with the new GOOs. Thanks for watching.